Hello, everyone. We're in the corner again. It's been a few weeks, I think, since we've been in the corner. So one of my things is like a Word document. So I was like, it just makes sense. I can get everything on the computer. You know. So hope everyone's doing well. The first day of fall was, what is today? It was last week. Yeah. So this month is like over. It's kind of crazy. And then a real nigga's birthday is October 11th, if you didn't know, which is kind of going to be, well, I'm going to talk about it today too. Related to my poem I talk about today. But, you know, if you ever feel like you want to give a brother something, let me know. I can give you my Cash App, my Amazon list, my Etsy list, whatever. You know what I mean? But anyway, hope you all are doing well. I'm not going to ramble too much. I will say the weather went down super fast. Like, I don't remember last year going down this fast. So I got to get myself together. I got to get my wardrobe together. I got to get it together. Because like every year I'm like, oh, the winter will probably be mild. But now I'm like, I don't know if it will be. But we'll see what happens. So anyway, I'm going to get into the video. I had already watched this documentary. It's called The Last Days of Left Eye. I'm going to give you some background / synopsis. It was filmed from March 30th, 2002 until her death, which was April 25th, 2002. It's centered on the last days spent in a spiritual retreat in Honduras and the accidental death of TLC member Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She was born on May 27th, 1971, and like I said, she passed away April 25th, 2002. So it featured narrative insight and commentary from interviews of the singer. It was released a few years after her passing, May 19th, 2007. It was directed by Lauren Lazine. I hope I said her last name right. So I had already watched it like as a child, and then last night I rewatched it. So I did not, I don't know, it felt weird making a pros and a cons list because it was kind of like very up close and personal. So I'm just going to be analyzing it and the events around her, which I will say everything was smooth, of course, up until the last couple of days. If you haven't watched the documentary, it's basically her filming talking about her life and from birth all the way up until, it doesn't show. Thankfully, it does like get cut when she passed away in a car accident, when the car accident happened. But they do edit in pictures of the crash. So if you're like sensitive, you don't see her, like you don't see any bodies, you don't see any blood or anything. But they do show the car, like it did flip over. But they do show it. So just a warning. If you do go and watch it, that will show that. It shows her funeral, but it doesn't show her in the casket. So I'm kind of sensitive about like seeing like dead people and stuff. So I was glad they didn't show all of it. I kind of wanted to see her, but I feel like I've seen pictures of her. But you can always Google it if you're really like curious. But it was a huge funeral. I think it said that in the documentary it was like 30,000 people came. So she was very loved and everybody showed a lot of support. So yeah, that was nice to see. And since she's so much into like numerology, I felt like, the trip was supposed to be 30 days. So it was shy of 30 days. And I felt like, it was probably like a cycle because, each month is usually like 30 days. 31 depending on the month, 28 depending on the month. But it's like, you're going through like a new, like it brings something new each month. That's what I said. And like I said, I love that she was into numerology. It was really interesting. And they showed like, if it was day 17, they would say 1 + 7 = something. So it would be like different numbers have different meanings. So it was really nice and really interesting, her studying numerology. I thought that was really cool. Um, and I love her self-reflective moments, even though I do kind of feel like she was downplaying why she was. So after the fire, if you don't know, she had a fight with her ex. One morning they both came in from partying and he was upset and he had hit her. Oh, okay. And so yeah, he had hit her and then she was upset, so she took his shoes, threw them in the tub, set them on fire. That was my mom, y'all. Fire did not go out. Did not. So it didn't burn all the way to the ground, but the house was pretty bad. So yeah. So she had to go. She had probation and rehab because of that. So she didn't get jail time, but that's what she had to do. And she seemed to like not really think that she needed to be there, even though she said that she had a drinking problem. So even though she's like in this alcohol rehab center and drug rehab center, it seemed like she felt like she shouldn't really have been there. But um, let me see what I said. Okay, that's something else. But I oh, and then another thing is she had like another personality when she would drink. So she would have like Nikki and Nina. And so it's like you have these alter egos that when you get so drunk, you just don't act like yourself, but you don't think you have a problem. But, you know, maybe that was something that she like really needed to like self reflect on and really needed to like, you know, really needed more time to like think about. But, you know, of course, she was there at the retreat, and it's supposed to be a time of self reflection. And that was the only thing that I thought that like she maybe needed more time to like think about. But obviously, she did not get more time. And also, so they were like doing this retreat and they were doing this detox. And I want to say she had a group called Egypt that came and sang and was at this Honduran. So I forgot to mention, they're in Honduras, they're not in America. So they're doing this 30-day retreat in Honduras, to recharge and to reflect on her life and to do her documentary. And she wanted to go back in the studio, renewed. And let me see what I said. Oh, I think that the group and like her family and friends that came with her were kind of in over their head because she did this Dr. Sebi like herb, which the herbs did not taste good. One person threw up. Just a warning, if you don't like people throwing up, just a warning. I know some people don't like that or have like a phobia about that. But yeah, so that happened. And I don't think they were ready because it was very intense. So they had to do the herbal treatment things twice. I think maybe more than one day actually. So that was very intense. And then the diet they had no sugar, no meat. Gosh, I wish I had. But basically, pretty restrictive. Just vegetarian. They had avocado, rice. Very restrictive. So no junk food. But they did have a day where they like Lisa had went somewhere else and they were like, we going to go get some junk food. So it's kind of made it seem like towards the end she kind of lost control of like the documentary and like the process. And like, I mean, from going from, I feel like, Left Eye was used to that because she had done that before. But I feel like when you have someone who's not used to that, you kind of have to like ease into that because I was watching it and it was very intense and I wasn't even there. I couldn't imagine like going through that detox. And I'm going to talk about Dr. Sebi a little bit. I know that people like really like him and think he's like a really great healer, but I've also heard stuff about him saying that women are not really supposed to have their menstrual cycle. that there's something wrong with them if they do or something. So I'm gonna take everything he says with a very one single grain of salt. Like, he might have some good things to say, but saying that women should not have their period, which you know nobody really has control of whether you have it or not. Some people have it too. Some people have it really early. Some people have it really late. You don't really have control over that. So that's just a weird take to have. You know what I mean? So I don't really think that after hearing that, I don't really think anything he ever says is like gonna be that good. But that's just me, because it's like, how are you gonna tell women that something that naturally happens to them is not supposed to happen to them? Like, how did we get to this conclusion? So I probably have to look into that. But yes, she does talk about Dr. Sebi. Sebi? Sebi. She does talk at length about her experiences with Dr. Sebi and visiting him and things like that, doing the detox, doing his diet. So she does talk about that. What else happened? Oh yeah, she did go into detail about what caused the fight about with her ex-boyfriend Andre Rison. They were on and off for, I want to say they had 7 years they were on and off for. And it's just, it wasn't a good situation. Now we have we have the word for it, but he basically would love bomb her and would be like, she said at one point that he would tell her, I love you so much. She never got to say it first. She would always be saying, I love you too. I love you too. But then he was also abusing her and cheating on her. And, and then I felt like also things happened really fast. So the first time she came to his house, so the first time they met, he kept following her around the club and she was getting annoyed. And then after bumping into him a few times, she went over to his house and he didn't have no furniture. And she was like, why don't you have no furniture? And he was like, oh, I'm waiting for you to furnish it. And it's like, everything moving a little fast, sir. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. So that to me would be a red flag. But when you're young, you don't really know. Like, hey, this is kind of red flaggy. You know what I mean? What else was that I put? And then she also talked about how she wrote her verse for Waterfalls. I don't know if she wrote the whole song, but she talked about her verse in Waterfalls and how she wrote that in rehab and was looking at her life and really evaluating everything that she had gone through and trying to be better. So I thought that was really nice. And yeah, she had been to Honduras a few times before then. And it was nice seeing her life outside of TLC and how she felt in the group as well. She talked about all the traumas, all the bankruptcy, all the mess. But I don't want to. It kind of seemed like she did do an appearance with them, so I'm guessing that they were cool at least in the public. But sometimes it seemed like she was kind of. I don't think at odds with them, but maybe like she wanted to do the 3-album competition, and she did talk about she was devastated that her album did not get released in the United States. So it was just, I don't want to say they ended on bad terms because I'm not 100% sure, but it kind of didn't really seem like they were on the best of terms. You know what I mean? But hopefully that wasn't the case because she passed away. And I don't think I could really give it a rating because of like the nature of it, because it's mostly her, taping herself, or like one of her family members or her friends would be taping. So I mean, there's not really a critique I could give about the taping. I would highly recommend it. I think what other warnings? No, it was just the car, some throwing up. They showed the casket, but not her in it, like I said. But yeah, I thought it was really nice. I thought it was, yeah, and I felt weird giving it a rating because of the ending, because you don't see everything, but when the car like swerves, that's when it cuts off. But it does show the picture. So I felt like, can I really give it a rating? Knowing the ending, but I would highly recommend it. It really gives insight to her. At first, it seems like she's really opening up, but then sometimes she opens up more. Like when she was driving in a different car. It was a van, and she was in the passenger seat, and they accidentally hit a little boy who ran out into the street, and his last name was Lopez too. And Left Eye had paid for the funeral expenses and hospital bills, and they gave her his shoes, and it was really sad. She felt like, I guess she felt like death was following her, but it accidentally took the little boy instead. And it's really interesting that she felt like that, and then unfortunately, it wasn't the full 30 days, but towards the end of the trip, she did pass away. So I feel like that was really sad. But I will say, the numerology made me like think about like what is my favorite number? Like what does numbers mean to me? And so of course my birthday is October 11th, so 11 is my favorite number. And I was like, I definitely wrote a poem called 11. This one I actually wrote on my birthday in 2011, so 10, 11, 11. Hey. But I was reading it and I was like, I don't really think like this anymore, so I wanted to write a second part. So I'm going to read them both and show you, how my life has changed since 2011. How old was I in 2011? I would have been like 18, 19. It's really interesting. But here's part one. 11 is my favorite number because my birthday is October 11th, and I believe it's my lucky number. Why does I have this strike through in here? Word just be doing anything, y'all. Here we go. A 10 is what I think the guy I like is, and he stays on mine even on my birthday. A 9 is how you say no in German, and I love saying 9 in a really harsh accent. 8, more like I want to eat right now. Wow, it's crazy. I stay hungry and can go for some good pork sausage or pork bacon. I'm such a fatty. And then I put like a little smiley face. 7, in my opinion, is not a very lucky number, but I like the way it sounds. I think 7 would be a cool name, and I think I would name one of my characters that one day. Which is, whose son is it? Erykah Badu and Andre 3000's son is named 7, and I feel like it's such a cute name. Okay. 6 sounds like another 3-letter word that we're all obsessed with. And I'm still a virgin and proud of it. I don't judge people who aren't, though, because we live our own lives, and I just want to wait as long as I possibly can. Oh, okay. So I read this line wrong when I rewrote it, but I'm going to go with it. Okay. 5 is the age I remember a lot from, and I was a bad kindergartner. I got lots of bad notes all the time, except for one time my teacher sent a note home because I was afraid of a fly, which when I look back was really ridiculous, and once I threw one of my notes away. Which I'm like, I don't really like. I'm going to go on a little rant. This kind of note system, because it's just like really like police and children. Like, it's like weird. But anyway, 4 is the most children I want to have, and I will be so happy when I become a mother, but I'm more than willing to wait for that. I also have to find a man first. 3 makes me laugh because it reminds me of my IT teacher talking about a Jamaican 3, whatever that is. He's very strange. He's a very strange guy, and I'm never really sure what he's talking about sometimes. And I'm trying to remember what the heck that man's name was, but let's keep going. 2 is the minimum number of children I want to have. And if I had a boy and a girl, I would be happy. If I have a boy, I would name him Kai, and I would name the girl Virginia Lee because I think Kai is a cute boy name. And I love Virginia because that's where I'm from. And I've always liked the name Lee for some reason. I do like other names, but those are my favorite at the moment. I don't know if I'll keep it Virginia because I'm like, it's kind of, I don't know, some kind of corny. But anyway, here we go. 1 is for finding the one, my soulmate, the man of my dreams, everything I wished for. I would love to be someone's wife, mother of their children. I hope I find someone who helps me grow closer to God and loves me unconditionally. I just want one guy who will become mine forever. And when I find him, I will be so ecstatic. So, in that one, a lot revolving around like relationship, children, very much not really about myself, I guess, or basically being happy with myself. So, back then I was very much a church gal, very much, the notion of waiting till you get married, find the right person, not saying you can't find the right person. I'm just saying, now I know a lot more than, I was like 19. I'm going to be 31 in a few weeks, and I still don't know everything. But I also feel like now I'm more secure in the fact that I would love to find a soulmate, but I also don't just want to settle. I feel like a lot of people in my life have settled, and then I fear, you hear all kind of terrible marriage stories, terrible dating stories. People who don't pull up their weight. It's like, it's men. Not saying that there's never going to be a primary parent to children, but it's like, I also don't want to feel like a slave to like everyone, So it's like a lot going on. My computer is not focused, but it's okay. It looks like really ominous though, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, here's the part 2. I wrote it yesterday. I mean today technically, because I finished watching the movie at like 3 in the morning. But it's 11 part 2. 11 is still my favorite and lucky number because of my birthday. 10 is what I am and know that I am whole on my own. 9 is how you say no in German, and I still love saying it. Like 9. Okay. I know it's not really spelled the same way, but 8 is still all about food, but I know I have an unhealthy relationship with food and need to fix it. 7, I think, can be lucky and feels complete to me, and it's still a very cool name. 6 still sounds like another 3-letter word, and I didn't wait till I got married, and I'm not disappointed in myself. I did wait until I was an adult, though, so I'm so happy about that. I'm so happy. But, I'm going to 19. I really think people should wait until they become an adult to have sex, but of course, you can't stop children. You can't stop teenagers who are technically children. You can't stop children. Hopefully not too young children. But, teenage children, you can't really stop them from having sex. Because, you could say, no, don't do this. But then, they're going to want to do it. You know what I mean? So, 5 is still the age I have a lot of memories from. But they become less the older I get. Which, is true. I feel like I still have those same exact memories. Like, I don't really remember, I remember more. But, I don't think I remember as much detail. 4 is still the most children I would have, and honestly, I hope I don't have that many, lol. After knowing all of the horrors of pregnancy and childbirth, especially for black women. Yeah. Okay, here we go. 3 sounds like tree with a Jamaican accent, which I think my white teacher was trying to make a joke about, which is weird to me now. Because, why are you making fun of a black people's accent, sir? Okay. 2 is for me, adding to myself if I find my soulmate, but they will only add to, not complete or subtract from me if I do or don't find anyone. 1 is for me, in finding myself and loving myself, fulfilling my dreams and desires, and not pressing myself to be important just on someone's arm. So now it's like, of course, I would love to find someone to be with for the rest of my life, and someone to be a supportive partner, supportive parent. I would love that. But I also don't place my whole identity on finding that. You know what I mean? I'm okay with potentially that not happening, or potentially if I want to inseminate myself or get inseminated, I can't I feel like that was probably illegal to try and just be like, I'm just going to go find some sperm and do it myself. I feel like that's not what I'm going to do. But, if I want to get inseminated, adopt a child, foster a child, I would like to do all those things. Actually, I would like to at least go through pregnancy once. And then if it's not good, that's good for me. I did it once. I would love to adopt a child. I would love to foster a child. I know not every adoption is foster to adopt, but I also have attachment issues, which I need to work on. So I feel like if I get a child and they can't just stay with me forever, if we get along well, I'm gonna have a weird problem with that. So maybe adoption should be more the route, because foster parents, they could become your parents, but they could become the foster child's parents. But they could also, be a transitional place for the child, to either go back to their birth parents or go to another home where they'll will become a permanent home for them, or go to family members, things like that. Every time I make a video, it's quiet, but then there's like stuff in the background. But I'm sure y'all probably can't even hear it until I like point out. But anyway, but yeah, I really love this documentary. I know it's like sad at the end, of course. Um, but it does show like her impact and how much she was loved, and how people wanted to know more about her and wanted to get to know her outside of all of the headlines and all of the which I mean it was negativity from herself technically. um but yeah, and seeing how she grew from that, and how she changed, and it was really nice. So yeah, if you want to watch the documentary, it is on YouTube for the free 99. I found it on Team TLC, a channel called Team TLC, but there's another channel that has it. Um, so it's like an hour 25 minutes, but some have an hour 37. So after 25 minutes, it's just credits. Like the few seconds after, it's like 125, the seconds. So it's not like, I don't think you will really miss anything if you watch the longer one. But yeah, so I would highly recommend it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I will see you all next week.